Yeah. So this is the RMS Titanic 1-to-1 scale, all the way down to the keel. It has a flat keel right now because I didn't want the decks to be curved. So that's the only variation from actual to the actual shape and everything of the Titanic that I'm making here is that I flattened the decks because they curve up at the last, like, I don't know, last 100 feet or more than that probably. They start really curving, and there's no way to do that without having big block steps in the middle of your decks, which would be annoying, and it wouldn't represent what it would actually look like on the real Titanic. You wouldn't notice the slight curvature of the bit. Um, this is full size, and it's constructed in single player Minecraft Alpha. Um, so in other words, it's all built by hand, slowly, and in the stupidest way possible. Because and this is the stupidest mode you could possibly use to build this at. Because you have to mine everything. Like, there's a lot of white. This is all wool. I do sheep hunting for hours to get as much wool as I've already gotten, and I still need a whole bunch more. So let's. I've seen a lot of several people, and I started making this before I looked at anybody's video, but um, I I've seen several people who've saying, look, here's a full size Titanic, or whatever, and that I made, and it's either not full size. Um, uh, uh, or they say it's full scale, but on the inside it only has 4 decks or something like that, instead of the normal, like, the 10 decks the Titanic has. Um, uh, this is going to be exact. I have very detailed plans on Titanic, more detailed than most people have access to. So, um, at least not without paying a lot of money. So, um, well, anyways, I'll just show you some of the highlights of it. Obviously, there's a lot that hasn't been, that's not wool. The first step was sort of digging it out of the dirt and stone, and then replacing, dirt with wood and wool or whatever other materials I feared, felt looked, closest to accurate. So we're up here. This is boat deck. These are funnels. The tops of the funnels are gonna need up to about, like, right about here. Are gonna need to be, or down to about right here, are gonna be obsidian to be the right color. So this is all the obsidian I have right here is used at the top. I'm gonna have to. I've heard of obsidian farming you can sort of do. Um, I'll have to do some of that. So this is the navigating bridge, the pilot house, and um, come in here is this is the captain's reading room, the captain's bedroom, the captain's lavatory is right here. Of course, one of the problems you have with these things is that when you do it 1-to-1 scale, the walls have to be a meter thick, and it cuts greatly into the size of rooms, so you end up with very small. I mean, this is an officer's bedroom right here, and it's a single. This is one of the smallest ones, but it's it's a single block because the walls took up so much of it. Um, but let's see, let's get out of here. It's actually 20, by the way, not 50. I put up these little offsets where I was sort of basing everything off of this point right up here, where this right here is 0, 0, 0, and then actually I was counting forward 20, 40, 60, counting backward 20, 40, 68, 800, and so forth. The total length of this is, I don't remember. I'll put it in the description. I think it's like 230 or 50. I don't know, something like that. It's 200 and something. At least it will be when it's done. There's actually a giant spire back there at the other end of it, but you can't see it because I don't think it's on the loaded chunks. So we come down here, and I have some A deck done. Like, these are all bedrooms in here and everything. Let's see what we have back here. This is basically as far back as I've gone on A deck, which is the first class reading and writing room, which I haven't given a ceiling yet because it actually has a raised ceiling, and comes on into here. So that's about as far back on A deck as I've gone as far as making them. making the actual interior of the decks. I've actually come up with a new plan for how to make the grand staircases as accurate as possible. So I'll have to be working on that later. I have a lot of stuff that I need to replace that's currently dirt, but getting the whole form cut out was a big challenge. And it's not I'm not done with that either, but I've gone a long ways. So this is the forecastle up here. Yeah. So this is the forwardmost point on the ship. There's the crow's nest. Oh, this right after I made this, I discovered that I had started the forecastle one block too close to the rest of everything, and I figured it would be easier to move the forecastle forward than move everything else backward. So I had to remake this entire thing. I had to remake everything. I had to push everything that's here. I had to destroy and move down a block, and including the whole form. I had to extend one block. So that was interesting. That was before I went back and I actually redid the whole form with a better plan, with exact blocks already numbered out and everything. So, but I mean, I've cleared these out. Like I've cleared these decks out, at least some of them down, pretty far. So I think I left a little hole here I could cut through. So I will. So like here's like that was C deck. This is D deck, which has not been cleared out all the way back. Now if you go back there, it's actually cleared out more than it looks. But yeah. So well, I'll show you how long these decks are. If I cut through B deck. So the decks were boat deck, A deck, B deck, C deck, E deck, F deck, G deck, Orlop deck. Depending on how you look at it, you can also call there another deck called Lower Orlop deck, and Tank Top, which is where the boilers were and everything. Speaking of boilers, I mean that's what they actually these are. These are the boiler casings. So I cut a hole in here real quick. Whoops, they don't go all the way down yet, but some of them, actually the next one goes down a lot deeper than this. So this is actually back on C deck now. So it goes down a lot deeper than this, but yeah, let me get back up there. Okay, I'll destroy that later. Alright, so I'll just show you sort of how far back this goes. Clearing this out, it takes a long time, and it's going to take a long time. I'm not done. I have B deck all cleared out, A deck's pretty much all cleared out. Boat deck I don't have to clear out because it's actually built up from like the average ground level around this area. So I have to build A deck boat deck, and actually a lot of A decks is the same way. But B deck's cleared out all the way back, almost all the way back. This is actually B deck goes back into here. I didn't actually bother cutting out that part because it's pretty curved back here. So there was really no point until I had until I actually got back there working on it. There was no point to wasting time cutting even more back. Why am I making this? I have no idea. I don't know. It's just a challenge. It's one of those stupid things people do, sort of like in the tradition of trying to beat RPGs with ridiculous restrictions, like beat the entire game with only one white mage or something like that. It was like that's like the hardest thing you can do. It's sort of the same thing I was going for here, is to do this in Minecraft Alpha single player, where I mean it's just the hardest way you could do it. You have to mine everything, and it's just a big pain. But yeah, that's about it. The sun's setting here, so I guess that's a good sign to cut this video off. Let's get one last view here. I'll show you where it says. We've been working on it for a long time. I don't know if this really. I only just started playing Minecraft like less than a month ago, so I don't know. I believe that there's a way you can actually take something you created in single player and host it somewhere. I'm not sure if that's true, but whenever I finish this or get it to a point where it's starting to get finished, I'll look into that and see if there's some way I can actually put this up so that people